Here we add the connectors, a push fit. Not too tight. Bit of extra elbow grease. You have the lips going to the top. And if we bend the connectors like that, so we're going to put red on that one there, white on this one here, and braid on the tab here, and also its leg onto this connector there. Now we feed the wire through the hole. So that our ear is in with our wire sticking out. I'll put the other ear in. To balance it up a little. And we get our base, and put the base, the logo side here under a tea towel or something, just so that it doesn't mark. Let's just get this a bit tidier. Got some solder on that. Notice the UK pronunciation. So red goes down, that's the left one, let's do the right one first. Right ear, then left ear. So red goes down. Bit of solder on brown. How's that? You can just about see that. Move the rubbish out of the way. I like to bend the shield slightly. solder on the end. Move the red wire out of the way and fold the shield so that it's pointing. It's a bit tight there. Let's see how we can do with that. So we're going to put a little blob of solder between the shield and the connector, like this. Making sure that that is the right and connecting to the right. Let's just do the other one. Give the wire a bit of a bend so it's got a good connection. And bend the shield. Tuck that red wire out of the way. And a good bend on that shield. I think we got that. I'm not too sure if that's easily visible. So there we go. And now we can put the base to the head. Just before we put the head on the base, we're going to do a quick audio check. So I'll put on some headphones. Let's get the exposure right. I'm using an external battery pack with my Zoom F3. And we're going to see we've got a good signal there. Just make sure no crackles or pops and things occur within the ear. Sounds all right. So next stage is, right, so now we attach the head to the base. So when we're ready to use this stuff, I'll show you what we do with this. First of all, we have to break the seal using the cap. Like this. And put our feeder thingamajig on it. And then we're going to cut a little bit off that. So we've got a bit of a hole. Then from the bottom of the tube, we're going to squeeze going around the outside. Like a horseshoe shape. Over the nut a few times. That's for the indentation on the inside where the nut goes in the polystyrene. That should be enough. Now this part here, we're going to take the ears out and just pull on the wires just a little bit, just to take up some slack. Gently take the ear out, pull up a little bit, and then place the ear back inside again. Same for the other side. Just take the slack out of the cable. And then push together until we get our logo with our nose. How are we doing there? Let's just see. That's about right. Check the back side. Come out a little bit. Just check that again actually. How are we? That's pretty straight. And maybe a little bit to the left. That looks about straight. And we've got plenty of a gap to put our silicone in. So we leave that now for about half an hour. And then we'll come back to it shortly. Once we've given the base a good 30 minutes or thereabouts, we then make sure we've got our spreader and our silicone sealant. And I've got a big bottle of alcohol IPA. And then basically just fill in the gap with your silicone, making sure it goes as far back on the mold as possible. And giving it some good pressure there so it forces its way through the back. And have it so that it's protruding over the top. If it comes out too slowly, you can make the hole bigger in the feed tube. Now I get my rounded end and simply just push down, get out some tissue. It's pretty wasteful, but it's necessary. Make sure we got some in there. Clean off our scraper. And now simply wearing your nitrile gloves, put a few squirts of IPA on and just go work your way around so it looks a bit like that. Now we're going to clean it up. I use the scraper and go around the edges on the polystyrene. And it just leaves a little, takes a bit off. And I get a tea towel, put some IPA on a finger and just go on the outside of the polystyrene, just take anything that was off on there Let's give it another and leave that to cure for an hour. When it comes to putting the ear in, if we put the ear at an angle and squidge in the sides, the ear goes in quite easily. Make sure there's nothing on the outside. And what I like to do, I like to get a bit of tissue paper and line the inside so that if the wire were to touch the polystyrene, there's a chance it can squeak if you're pushing the ears, and you don't want squeaky ears. So I put a bit of tissue paper in there. I think I'll make this hole a little bit bigger. And then we go around the outside, the inside of the hole by about 1/4 inch in. And just go around like so. Doesn't matter if it comes near the top. Sorry if my hands are getting in the way there. Like so. And then put the ear in at an angle. I put mine in like that. And then squeeze the sides and it pops in. And what we need is a fairly flush to the front, like that. And the back, doesn't matter if the back's sticking out a little bit, like that. And then we can do the other side. Put a bit of tissue in there. Roll the tube up a little bit. And apply on the inside. Like so. One corner down, and then we can squish in the other corners. Make sure if there's any coming out, use a piece of tissue and take it off before it cures, and get it to a nice sort of flush. There, that backside looks okay there, and we can leave that now. Check the other side, make sure that's not being pushed in, that looks fine. And we wait now a good half an hour before we progress to the next stage. Right, for this stage, we're going to put silicone around the outside and use the spreader tool and then the alcohol and a tea towel just to tidy up the edges. So make sure that the tube is nice and clean around the outside, and then simply just make sure there's no dodgy stuff around the edges. So if you could get a tea towel or a piece of lint-free cloth and just go around with the IPA just to be sure not to get any dust in there. And then simply go around with your silicone simply just go around and any surplus wipe off onto a tissue. You wipe it off each time, like so. And now we're going to clean up. Oh, I've missed a bit there. Clean up the edges a bit. And just wipe that off on a tissue. This silicone is slightly different to what we use in factory. So many times I've said to use in half an hour, an hour is a little bit too short for this stuff, but it does take a little longer to cure. And now we basically just go over the top, make sure we've got plenty of IPA on the glove, and just go around very quickly, just lightly, don't push hard, just to make sure nothing, nice clean fingers. And if it comes off on your finger a bit, take it off on the tissue. Just make sure you got nice and clean. I just want to make sure that getting in behind that ear okay. Looks like we picked up a hair there, so let's get rid of the hair. And so, bit of IPA. And we've got a bit of dust just on the corner there. And there we go. And then just repeat for the other side after 2 or 3 hours, maybe a little bit longer, with the supplied silicone sealant. Ours is a lot faster than this, but it's quite cost effective and does a good job. Once you've got that sorted on the other side after 4 or 5 hours maybe, give it a test, and then we'll get ready for putting the felt on the base. Once we're ready for putting the felt on, a couple of squirts of IPA, and give the base a bit of a clean, give the wipe down, make sure there's no silicone on the base. And take the backing off the felt. It's quite sticky stuff. And make sure that when you put the head down that you've got plenty of space there on that edge, so it's all perfect around the outside. And then with a brand new Stanley knife, box cutter blade, you want to carefully go around the outside edge. It's going a bit off there. I don't normally do it this way, but that seems to have worked quite well actually. rest in the bin. You should have a fairly good. Just make sure we got it okay at the front there. And now we can do the base where the connector is. So if you've got a good thumbnail, if you don't bite your nails, this is a good bit. We find the shape of the square nut under the felt. And we've got a good impression of it there. And I say with the new blade, just follow the square around. Don't matter if you slip a little bit. And then lift up one of your corners if you can. Easier said than done. And if there's any catching, just take the corner off like that. I've gone a bit skew whiff on that one there, just a little bit, but no one's going to see that, and that won't scratch the tabletops. There's one point which I missed out in this. If you want to, the edge around the base here, you can put some silicone on that, just to make it a little bit neater, and it'll finish it off really nice. If you do the bit around the base, don't put the felt on until you've done that bit. And there you go. There is your DIY dummy kit head for your binaural recording. Just a quick note that the DIY kits have green logos. This separates them from the pre-built red and black professional models. Thanks very much. Enjoy your dummy heads.